can have a drink. Just ask Jack if that was the greatest night in Exeter's history. What would you say to that?
Oh, I don't know. It's kind of, we seem to get asked it on and off, don't we, at a relatively regular basis. I think, let's see. I think maybe if we get out of the pool at the end of the games, we maybe look back and go, this was the defining moment. I think we'll wait and see if it was the defining moment before we describe whether it was the best game in our history. Because ultimately, if we don't get out of the pool, it doesn't add up to being worth all that much, does it? That's the tough reality of it. The nice parts of it are that 3 years ago we were well beaten by Clermont, and 3 years on, we're second in the Premiership, and we've won an important game of Champions Cup rugby here, and we've given ourselves an opportunity to make next week a big week, and possibly the win now actually keeps the pool alive for us beyond next week, because around 17, 18 points, things can still happen for you. We've got 10 now. 3 games remaining. It's starting to get interesting.
Top spot as well.
Yeah, well, it's a little false, isn't it? With a couple of other things that have happened. But yeah, we're there, and it's for us now to fight for it and to keep it. And kind of things are in our hands, which is a nice way for it to be.
Can you explain what happened with Sam? Sorry, go on. Just what happened with Sam Hill just before kick, and how impressed were you with the way Jack responded to changing, and to say a little bit about Jack's performance?
Yeah, obviously. Well, listen, I mean, he looked electric all night, didn't he? That's the truth. Very unfortunate for Sam. Sam kind of came out of training with the team run yesterday with a slightly sore hamstring. Our anticipation was it would be okay, and we wanted to give him every opportunity to come through fine. But right towards the end of the team run, I mean, we actually made the final change literally 2 minutes before the TV call. We were kind of prepared for it because we knew what changes we'd make if Sam didn't come through, which was Nosey in, Ollie straight onto the wing, and Michael Campanaro onto the bench. So we kind of knew what we wanted to do. Unfortunately for Sam, he'd have loved to have been part of that game out there tonight, but obviously it's allowed Jack to thrive in the midfield role, and if anything, it's allowed him to show his versatility on from an England point of view, a very important night.
A word about Thomas Waldrom performance with Eddie Jones being in the stadium?
Yeah, well, Tom's just a very good rugby player, and I think he shows that week in, week out. And I think he had a lot of particularly strong carries tonight, didn't he? And he came up with a very important try for us. He's a good footballer. He's an integral part of a lot of what we do. And I think what's really nice for us as a rugby club now is actually, we don't have to play him every week. We've got quite a lot of strength in the back five of the scrum, and I think what Tom's showing is that the strength we've got there, because sometimes he plays, sometimes he doesn't. When he does play, especially these last 2 or 3 weeks, he's played very well for us. And if there was ever a good night for an Englishman to show his qualities, in front of a new coach, well, what is he? He's a New Zealand Englishman showing his qualities in front of an Australian English coach, isn't he? So it's probably a good time to do it.
And you can answer in French now? I'm kidding. So, but can we say that your beer has a special taste for you?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's like anything, isn't it? I mean, it's the players. The players are having their Christmas party tonight. We talked about trying to create a special evening for ourselves as a rugby club. Obviously, we're immensely proud to be in the Champions Cup, and we're immensely proud to be playing against teams like Clermont Auvergne. This is what we worked really hard to be in the Premiership for. It's what we worked really hard to get into this top competition for. It's for nights like tonight, and I think what we've done tonight is we've made the most of the evening, and we've created an evening that we can all remember for a long time.
You were scared after the two first tries of Clermont?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I was worried because they came out of nothing, and I think that's Clermont's massive threat is that they have individual players who can score tries out of very little, and I think that's what happened. But I was also aware that we were playing into a very strong wind, and I do think we're a good attacking side and we'll score points. So I think was it 14-10 at half time was a good score for us. I think the try before half time was very important, which 14-10 I thought was doable. And I think what actually happened in the second half, I think the wind and the way we played and the way we kept possession and the way we kept territory just created enough pressure in the game for us to, in the end, score the tries and win the game.
What did you say to the players at half time? Because they came out firing on all cylinders, didn't they?
Well, I mean, the important thing was there was the physicality of the breakdown area, wasn't it, really? I mean, the game was won and lost in that area. If we hadn't have managed to kind of up our level at the breakdown, it would have been a very long night. As it was, that was the poorest area of the game for us. Our clear out our ball carriage and clear out in some of the contact areas, like I say, was the worst element of the game for us, and it's something that we'll have to work on very hard this week, because it'll be the big element that Clermont can really target next week, as they turn over a lot of ball. We're very strong in the tackle area, slow ball down well, won some penalties. It was the weak point in our game, and we're going to have to work very hard to address it, because if Clermont up their game in the other areas, then it's going to be a tough afternoon, tough evening for us next Sunday. So contact area is a big thing for us. We talked a lot about the speed and physicality we needed to have there. I thought we were better after half time, but we still weren't perfect. But we were good enough to be able to kind of weather the penalties.
Any more injury worries from today?
There's always injury worries after a game like tonight. There was a lot of physical collisions. So Jesus, I mean, that was some physical contest out there. The boys have given a lot, so we're expected to report a lot of bumps and bruises over the next couple of days. But at this stage, it doesn't look like anything too major.
Especially after the party tonight.
Players don't tend to report injuries when they know they can go out and have a drink, so we'll see.